Hey everyone, it's David here. I want to talk to you today about overages, and I'm going to call this Basic Overages 101 or Tax Overages 101 and Mortgage Overages 101. I want to talk to you about getting in the overage business and getting involved. Before I dive into this, do me a favor. If you've not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe. I always show you gold nuggets on how I'm doing the business, what's working, and how the business works. All right, let's dive into this and look at this. Here's a property that went up for a tax overage for approximately $12,000 over the asking price. Here's another property that went up for a tax overage of approximately $42,000 over the asking price. So I always thought that when a property went up for auction, whatever the auction got went to the bank or the government or who's ever conducting the auction. What I actually learned was when a property goes up for auction, say John Smith owns this property, it's a forced sell. John Smith has no other choice. He has to sell this property. So the property gets sold. What I learned was once the bank or the county is satisfied with the property, anything extra has to go back to John Smith. So this one, $42,000, that $42,000 goes back to John Smith. Let's say the total auction was $60,000 and it sold for $102,000. So $42,000 over the asking price. They've been satisfied, they've been paid, and he is the seller of the property. Now, if there's a second on the property, or say in this case it's the county, there's a first, or there's a IRS lien or a child support lien, that will be paid before he can collect, or more than likely. I do see sometimes where it goes under the radar, but usually that seldom happens. They will be satisfied before John Smith receives his paycheck. Now, what you want to do is you want to find a county that is conducting auctions. Like the other day, I had to serve jury duty. I thought as a business owner I could get out of it, but they were like, no, you got to serve this. And there was like 500 of us in there. I kid you not. So they needed 75 people. And then it went down to like 14, 15 people. So luckily I got to walk out of there. And as I walked out, I thought it was a kid in the county store. There's an auction to my right. It's a tax overage auction. And there's an auction to my left. It's a trustee auction, a bank auction going on all at the same time. I'm out there with my phone filming like I'm a reporter. I mean, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is good stuff. This is what I do. I'm all out there for like hours, and it was super cool. You want to find where auctions are being conducted in your county. You might have to call your county and you ask them. Now, you don't want to call and say, hey, I'm a funds locator. I want to get people paid on overages. Unfortunately, they hate people like us, and they hate what we do. They think we're all fraudulent, and they think we're all out there to con people out of the money. What you want to do is you just want to say, I'm conducting some research. I understand this is public information. Where could I get the tax or mortgage overage list that you have? Like, I want to watch overages. I'm noticing that properties are going forward with the asking price. Or I'm going to show you how to look at a couple of properties here in a minute, and you could actually research and follow those properties. I'm going to show you some actual deals. So when you get started in this, and again, you might have to talk to a few people in the county. Like, go to the county clerk, ask them. If they don't know, ask to speak to a supervisor. I had one county that one time said, well, we don't give this information out over the counter. And it's like, okay, how can I get it? Well, you got to email us. They're not offering me an email. Okay, who do I email? Oh, well, it's this person. Okay, can I get their exact email address? Why do you want this information? And I'm like, well, because I'm conducting some research, and this is public information. I'm just doing some research on auctions. Well, like I said, you're going to have to email us. Okay, great. Give me the email address. I finally got the email address. I just said, hi, this is David Church. I understand this is public information. Can I please get a list? About a week later or so, I had the list. It was a little frustrating, but it is public information. And keep in mind that people at the county level, many of them hate their jobs. I mean, some of them love it. You always get the polite people. I'm just preparing you kind of like you're going to probably have to have a little bit of a struggle there. So just a heads up on that. If they don't give the information, I understand it's public information. I'm doing some research. I'd really like this. Well, we don't give this information. Can I talk to someone? Can I talk to a supervisor? It is public information. Okay, here's one of my first checks. So I always say start off small and work your way up. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. I contacted this individual. I said, did you know that you have $1,555.62 over? It went for this much over the asking price. I can help you receive this. I'll get 50%. I fumbled a little bit in the paperwork, but I got paid. I got her paid. So I did a 50-50 split. When I first found out that I could do this, I then went after many deals that were under 2,000, did a 50-50 split, and I would do 4 or 5 of those a month. I mean, literally, you make anywhere from 4 to 5,000 a month getting started out in this. You're now making anywhere from 48 to 60,000 a year, and then you bump yourself up. You're like, well, that's nothing. I get it. You want to hit six figures in the business, but I've had people jump in, and like I had a guy who went in a while ago, and I've talked about the story before. It was a $30,000 claim. He was getting 30%. The notary actually jacked up the paperwork, not him, the notary, but because he didn't know what he was doing, he didn't get paid, and to this day, he's devastated by that. I mean, it was a $10,000 deal almost that he was going to get paid. Here's some recent checks at my office, Scott. Let's go ahead and look at this. This one on the left should actually have two checks to it. And here are both those checks. So this was a lady who was deceased who owned this property. We contacted her daughter. Her daughter's like, what? There's funds left over from this property. Now, here's one thing that you want to be careful. You want to be careful on promising them an amount, because this one was for over $11,000, but there was an additional lien that I talked about on the property. So we actually collected roughly, I think it was like $9,600. We got 40% of that. So we made about $3,800 on this deal, and she made the difference. Loves us, very happy that she got paid. It was an awesome deal that we were able to get in and get. That was, oh yeah, there's a date right there. It was in April of this year that this happened. Here's another one that we got. It was not that long ago. This one was for $10,434.45. Same thing, person had no idea that they had these funds. This one was super cool. Property was the late husband's here. The wife had no idea that she had these funds. She's like, what? There's money. We got 40%. So we just made somewhere just over $4,000 for this property. And we got her paid with this. This one was a guy in California. The property was in Florida. He loves us. So we got 40%. So we roughly made about $8,000 from this deal. He got roughly just about 12,000 to break down the numbers. He loves us. He's offered to put out a good word. He told me he was going to go promote us to all of his buddies and friends. I'm like, well, hopefully you don't know a lot of people that have been in the foreclosure business, but there's an estimated $14 billion of unclaimed funds in the United States with mortgage overages, and there's an additional $14 billion of unclaimed funds with tax overages. So what you could do is jump in, get people paid money that they did not know they had. Here's a woman in our program. She just got someone paid, same county. She made 26,000. Well, she got 26,000. I think she got 40% of this. This business can be life-changing when you start getting up in the higher checks here. Same lady right here. So this one she got in the end of February. This one she got in the middle of February. So you figure she made just over 8,000 for this one. This one she made just over 3,000 for. She's posted many more checks. She's got many more in the month. She does over $100,000 easily a year with overages and collecting overages for people. Here's a guy in our program that used us for his first few deals. He got these two checks. Again, if you did 40% of this, which is very doable, he made just over $4,000. You would make just over $4,000 in this deal. Here's another guy who in our program who came in, and he made on this check, he made $6,232.74. He got 30% of this. So roughly he's looking at somewhere around $1,800. And you could do anywhere from 10% all the way up to 50%. The smaller the checks on this one, I probably would have gone after 50% because I am doing the work. I'm getting people paid, and this one's a smaller amount. This one right here, I would do something like 30%, and or 30 to 40. I'd probably start off at 40. So $4,800, so just under $5,000. And these types of checks are out there. And what I do is I do an assignment of interest. My corporation collects these funds, and then I split them with the individuals. Here's the lady that with the $26,000 check, she went on her anniversary. She came back, she had 4 checks in her mailbox. These checks were totaling over $20,000. Again, she does 40%. That would be just over $8,000 in 1 week. So when I was telling you she has more checks than that, she's killing it with probably over $200,000 a year in overages in her business. Now let's go into Trustee. I was Trinity County. These are bank asking prices. These are bank auctions here. What you're going to notice is that a property is going to get cleared for auction. The bank has posted notices. They've notified the individual. They've done everything. They've given them a reinstatement fee. A reinstatement fee is when this is how much to catch up the loan. They haven't caught up the loan, and it gets cleared for auction, and the estimated opening bid is for $86,580. Now, you want to watch the estimated opening bid, and I'm going to jump a couple slides and go back to this one. There's also an estimated debt on the property. So the estimated debt on the property is for $339,054 on this property. So on this property right here, let's say the estimated debt is $86,580, and the property sells for $100,000. If they have no additional liens, that's roughly a $14,000 overage. That's definitely one that I would go after. Let's say you're brand new in the business and this one sells for $88,000. I think you should try to help someone get paid. You should split the difference with them and learn how to work this business on a small auction like that first check that I showed you. But what's going to happen is it's going to get cleared for auction. And then if it sells, you want to know the estimated debt, how much it sold for, and you want to subtract that and find out if there's funds there. So like, let's say on this one, the estimated debt's for $51,000. That's roughly $21,500 over the asking price. If there's no other debt, there's no IRS liens, that $21,500 goes back to that former homeowner who had to sell this property. And what we do is we contact them, ask them to work with us, and go ahead and work on getting them paid. One other quick thing, when I'm working on these deals and I'm going to new counties, new lists and stuff, and I call the bank on this one, and I'm asking them for an overage list, and I find this, and let's say that this one does have indeed 21,000. Everyone, this is a golden nugget here, and you're talking directly to the county. I say to them, I'm calling about the $21,500 overage from 5424 Wesley Drive. What can we do to collect those funds and get ourselves paid? They always talk to me like I'm the homeowner. Oh, you fill out these forms, you do this, you show proof of ownership and everything. You write down lists. Most of them have it on their website, but you write down what exactly you need. They'll say copy of driver's license, notarized documents, whatever it is, you write it all down. Then what you do is you can either do it in the same conversation, you call back. I usually call back and I just say, hey, I'm working on a property and I'm working on getting these overages. I want to go ahead and work with a funds locator on this. The court's going to come back and say, oh, you don't need a funds locator. You could do this on your own. I know, but I know this company and they're good and I want to go and work with them. What do they need to do to be able to help us and assist this deal? What paperwork do we need from them? And they will give it to you. They'll say, okay, if you go on our website, you look at these forms, you look at that. They will go and tell you. They will strongly encourage you not to work with a third party. Little do they know that you are the third party. When you call and just say, I'm calling about 5424 Wesley Drive, and you start talking to them, they're going to talk to you like you're the homeowner. They're not going to give you confidential information on this property. Now, a lot of times you can go in the courts and the back offices and find that, like when I say back offices, like you go into their website and you click on information, it takes you into the various parts of the court. And you can find out, you can look at the folders and it'll say like excess proceeds and you see where they're filed, you see if anyone's claimed. You want to start looking for that type of information. All right, so we talked about this. Now, one other part about auctions. Let's say the property goes back to the bank. It doesn't sell. So this property, say it's 904, I started to say 123 Main Street, I always say that, but 904 South Ann Avenue. So 904 South Ann Avenue goes back to the bank. There's an estimated debt of $200,000. Let's say this sells for $500,000, $300,000 over the asking price. And it's conducted by Bank of America. They now own the property. Bank of America now owns that property. They get any excess proceeds goes to them because they're now the owners of the property. So if it does not sell at the auction, I've had people email me and say, hey, I noticed this property and it's gone back to the bank. And 3 months later, they sold it for over the asking price at auction. It doesn't matter. Those excess proceeds, they're no longer excess proceeds. The bank now owns this property. They're now going to be able to take this property and sell it. And whatever they get for it. It's the way the business works. Now, if you wonder on mortgage overages, and I do usually work with an attorney on these because it makes it a lot cleaner. If you want to know how people are doing in this, here's a guy who's come in and he's posted many checks in our program. Here's one for $20,378.02. Here's a recent post that he did, says he's going to have to get a bigger board. Same guy here. Here's a guy in our program who post deals, goes after once in a while. Here's a letter of authorization, recover funds, and he put his company in there and he was able to get them. It talks about that paperwork that I talked to you about getting that all situated from the court, knowing your paperwork and what you have to fill out. Here's a guy that's posted several deals in our program. This one check he got was for $15,206.38. Some of these are commission checks. Some of these are actual drug checks. Here's one for $7,927.42. Here's a guy that posts checks all the time in our group. Here's 4 that he got on the same day. And we literally have recovered millions and millions of dollars of unclaimed funds. And I show this to you just to show you how the business works and what could be done. So I hope this has been helpful. I've rambled on long enough, but getting started, you want to be able to find out where auctions are, where they're going on the court, how much they're going. I will try to give some more videos that support this information and continue this series on videos here, because I know I've shown you a lot of checks I've received. I know I've shown you a lot of envelopes I've received. Now I'm trying to actually show you some deals and how to go after these deals. Hey everyone, a couple things. First of all, thank you for watching this. Again, if you haven't subscribed, do so. Click the link down below. I think it's in the right-hand corner. Also, in my comments and in my description, I have my state funds training course that goes into tax and mortgage overages as well. If you want to see some additional training, click on that. watch that. It's a free training. It's a total free webinar. Go ahead and click that and watch that. I'll give a lot more detail on what I went over today. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you around.